Are all nail products created equal? We're going to give you the answer right now on the Biz Talk. I'm trying to even talk now, and I can't. We were trying to kick off this episode, and I kept saying, "Are you ready?" It was like, "Yes," and then we were interrupted.
It was
Tracey.
me. It was me.
It was Tracey.
I had to adjust. My ear itched. I had a bra strap issue. Like, I can't help it. I was not comfortable.
Yeah, it took like 2 hours.
Who was the last one?
I had to make sure the thing was recording, so I'm like,
that
"Are we
should have
recording?"
been done like 20 minutes ago.
Okay, I'll be Vic. Just so you know, it's going to be 20 minutes of recording of nothing before we start. So
Yes.
just make sure you.
At least he's recording this time.
Yeah, we are. We've done that before. Okay. Are all nail products created equal? Now, there's two parts to this question. So we're going to talk brands.
Twofer.
It's a twofer. I love twofers, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
My wife knows, like, when I'll do something, I like to have like two benefits. Like, for example, I don't know why I'm getting into this, but like if I'm working out, I'm trying to hold this in. Like, I'm doing it because I'm training for, my health, but also there's
The Olympics.
No. Like, because I train jujitsu. So it's like I get like a dual I need that. I like twofers. Anyway, let's get into this. We're going to talk brands, and then we're going to talk some chemicals also, because we have some people that we're talking in the, are all nail products created equal, talking about like acid-based primers, non-acid, talking about MMA and EMA. And I know a lot of you know the answer to this, but we're just going to touch on it a little quickly, talking about like 3 free versus like 10 free, how that all works. But let's start with brands. I'm going to say this before Tracey answers. We are Young Nails. So we have a little bit of a bias towards our nail products.
Hashtag sponsored by Young Nails.
Sponsored by Young Nails, okay? So I'm just putting that out there, but I'm going to answer this in the most objective way possible. But from a nail tech perspective, I want to know, Tracey, like, even obviously before you worked here, are all nail products created equal, like from different brands?
Absolutely not.
Correct.
No.
Correct. They're in systems that you have used in the past, even obviously before here. Did you see, like, what were some of the, you don't have to name the brands, but what were some of the differences that you would notice between brands in terms of, like, let's say acrylic?
I think some of the negative would be like yellowing.
Yeah.
You had product that it wasn't easy to file. It wasn't clear. It was color inconsistency.
Right.
So you just ran into problems that way. And then you have other things that, a product that works great for somebody, but it's not your kind of product. It's a slower setting product, and I don't want to work with a slow setting product. So you have kind of, there's differences. Even if it's a good product, there's differences that I might not enjoy in it.
Correct. I think that's important, right? Like, let's say, so let's break this down even further. Obviously there's going to be some quality differences that you're going to notice,
yes.
Right? Which is the first reason why, because all nail products are not created equal, which is why you as an individual need to explore and try different brands. Even if, to Tracey's point, okay, we pride ourselves on, non-yellowing, on exceptional bonding, on having, very, very good color consistency, all that stuff. But still, even though, to the point you were making earlier, it still may not be the brand that somebody wants to use. They might have subtle, expectations of how a product should work or
right.
flow.
Right.
And even if the quality's there, maybe it moves differently for them. Correct?
Right. Well, and that's why I liked Young Nails so much, is because you had different powders to kind of, what do you want to work with?
Right.
How do you want to do it?
Right.
And then also, this to me is a huge benefit of having an owner, Greg, that does nails. Is he can then also teach you, hey, you like that, personally I like speed, but there's, a French core. I loved that color, but I wanted to use it, but he taught me how to do, the liquid differently so I could actually use it and it would flow the way I wanted to flow and to set up the way I wanted to set up.
Interesting.
So there is the benefit of that too, because even though I didn't like it when I first tried it because it was just way too runny and didn't set up fast enough, I learned how to control it, then I could. So that's a benefit. It's education.
Totally. Education. And when you're on your nail journey, you've got to try different brands. I mean, you have to try different brands.
I tried so many, mostly because of packaging. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. Let's do that. That'll look good on my table.
Of course.
That doesn't work so well.
Right,
It doesn't work so well. And then a lot of chemist Barbie, as I call it. A lot of mixing of this. I use this liquid with this powder, and because so-and-so said that was good, and that's what she's using, and what the heck, let's try it. So again, Young Nails is the first line that I ever used complete.
Right.
Because I never found a product line that I liked where I wasn't mixing and matching it.
Right. Totally understand. And like, we see that. You see Chemist Barbie constantly in the market. There's a lot of mixing and matching, and people will ask, just to that point real quick, people will ask, hey, can I mix your products? I think we actually did an episode on this. And we only test our products with our products. So we don't sit here and test like our liquid with other brands. So I don't know what's going to happen or if it's going to work for you, something that you would have to test on your own, but we can't obviously guarantee it. That's why we recommend you use it in whole.
Yeah, we'll try to help you, but without knowing.
It becomes challenging.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing is, like, I see, especially in today's world, where you can go on to an Amazon and you can pick up a lot of different products. You can go to the beauty store. You can go to Sally's. You can pick up, there's different brands there.
Everywhere.
It's endless. It's
everywhere.
endless. But you have to try things because they are not created equal. Like the number of different powder combinations, like let's just take acrylic powder, for example, right?
Yeah, I did. I honestly, before you move on, I knew that. I knew there was a difference and there was stuff that I didn't like. But in my mind, I have to be honest, I really assumed like, oh, come on.
Right. Of course.
So this is what I've learned since I've come to work with you guys and be a mentor with you guys, is what you're about to say. Sorry.
No. Not you just did Habib. So it's all good.
Total Habib moment.
Just No. It's the number of combinations of powders that actually exist are almost endless. Seriously. The setting times, the colors, obviously, but just the number of pinks that you can get. I mean, the subtleties between those, the slow, the medium, the fast setting. And there are just so many different kinds of chemistries, on a micro level. Obviously, the changes are so small, but like Tracey and Greg, when we're testing, if our chemist comes and says, hey, we have this new sort of technology, they test it, they see the differences in how these products work. Mm-hmm. I obviously don't. But these are things that you're able to see and you can even feel between the different chemistries and powders.
Right. And a lot of times we'll tweak it and then that becomes our formula. So I think a lot of people think that, I can just, this brand says this is, it doesn't have to be ours, but we're just like that brand.
Yeah.
That's the same. We use the same formula.
Yeah. No. Exactly. And we would say the same thing. Like, if another brand has a specific type of powder, that's theirs. That's theirs. It's not ours, because kind of the same thing. Okay. Having established that, let's go on, one step further and talk a little bit of chemistry in terms of when we're talking about are all nail products created equal. There are certain, like nail liquid, for example, you've got EMA and MMA. hey, it's only one letter. Is there really a big difference between MMA and EMA? Trace.
Yes.
I think this is we'll start with the most obvious.
100% difference. And you know what? There's been a huge thing going around about MMA and EMA. So I'm glad you're bringing this up, because a lot of people want to know what the difference is, because people have the big X and it's like MMA and they're like, what does that mean? What's the difference? But you will know the minute you have MMA around you, or the smell's different, the way it reacts is different. Everything's different.
The smell is very specific.
Yeah.
And the way that it cures also is extremely hard, right? And isn't it hard to file? I always hear you, Greg, talk about this. Like, very hard to file, right?
So I remember having someone come in and having it on them. I couldn't get that stuff off. Electric file bits, dulled.
Insane.
Like, just trying to soak it off, impossible. That's back when I soaked. I could not get... Nightmare.
It's insane. On that topic with primers, we've had people ask, I guess there's still acid primers in the market. Our primer, Protein Bond, is a non-acid primer. So I would say there's your acid primers, which contain what's called methacrylic acid. Not good.
What is it? Because I learned this from you guys. Yeah. But what is that?
Methacrylic acid is an actual corrosive. Okay. That's how we early on. That's all that existed in the market many, many years ago, like 20 years ago. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Methacrylic acid
That's what you're taught with.
Yeah, exactly. It smells like the fumes are acidy. Like, when you smell it, you're just like, oh my God. Imagine 1,000 dirty feet, smelly. People just took all their socks off.
That's a really good description of it, actually.
And then in combination with acid, and it's burning your nostril. That's what that is. And you get on your skin, it burns. It's a corrosive. Okay. So back in the day, early on, when this item was shipped, you'd have to use a corrosive label. That's how you have to classify it. So it's not good. If you see methacrylic acid, I personally recommend don't use it. You don't need to, because there's your next type of primer, which is it's a non-acid Protein Bond. I put that in a class of its own, because it's not just a dehydrator, right? Because you have your other type of bonding agents in the market that kind of act like alcohol almost, right? They just dehydrate the nail plate.
Yeah, they also have bond in the description, and
right.
If you can get confused, I've had people confused. You're like, well, I'm using this. No, that's different than Protein Bond.
Yeah.
But yeah, it pretty much is you brush it on, and it just dehydrates. Yeah.
So that's it's part of the non-acid bonders, but again, so is Protein Bond, but Protein Bond is not just a dehydrator. Protein Bond actually has it acts like a double-sided sticky tape. It leaves a little sticky layer on the nail.
Yeah,
correct?
It gets nice and sticky. It sticks to the natural nail, it sticks to the product. Works amazing. The other bonder that you use to dehydrate, you still have to do an acid primer
right
after that. So you dehydrate and then you use acid on top of it.
Whether you use Protein Bond or not, I don't care. Just don't use an acid primer. I wouldn't recommend it.
I used it for years. Yeah. I mean, that's what we're taught with, and I never knew that there was any other option. I've spilt it on my desk and try to clean it up, put my arms down to do nails and burnt the crap. All of a sudden feel burning, and because there was still acid on the glass. People go, well, why is my skin burning? Well, because you just put acid on it.
Yeah.
You try not to touch the skin, but it's again corrosive. So you're prepping the nail, and then you're doing damage to the nail with acid.
Right, exactly. So it's good to know. And then let's go into the basic nail polish, because this has come up. 3 free, 5 free, 7 free, 12 free, 60 free.
20 million free.
Yeah, free of nail polish. There's no nail polish. You just get air and you try to apply it. That's where we're getting to that point. It's just I'm going to pay $10 for this.
It's the emperor's clothing.
Yeah, exactly. So here's kind of my take on this, and Tracey can speak to her opinion on this. You can go, like I've seen nail polish brands basically call their nail polish like healthy and what do you call it? What's the word?
Organic.
Organic, because it's like 12 free. Okay. No. There's still chemicals inside of it. Okay. They might pull certain chemicals out, which, like your 3 free, 4 free, 5 free polishes, they're pulling out the major ones, and then other brands are going further. And you can do that. A lot of the stuff that is being pulled out in the 12 free are chemicals that help with the bonding, to my knowledge. Okay, to my knowledge. But here's the thing. You can go 12 free, 10 free, 7 free, whatever you want to do as a polish company, it's fine. The problem that I have is the way that some companies are basically saying this is like a healthy, organic option.
Right.
And I just don't like that.
Maybe you can kind of elaborate. To be classified organic.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So to be classified as organic, I think it's the FDA has to actually be involved. I don't know if it's the FDA or the USDA. One of the government agencies has to be able to classify it. They have specific guidelines as to what it is, and it's got to be like natural.
Right.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
I think you can drink it natural.
I think
Pretty
so.
close, right?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
It has to be grown in a certain way. It has to be created in a very specific way. And again, to my knowledge, nail polish doesn't qualify.
Right.
Okay. It just doesn't qualify.
Well, polish itself is what is it?
It's a flammable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like dynamite.
It has, some of it can have certain components in there. The fumes are flammable. It is flammable,
Yeah.
in the same way that like alcohol is flammable and acetone and
It's
a lot of
More
hair.
flammable than a gel polish, correct?
It is more flammable than a gel polish, to my knowledge. Yes, it is. And that's where it gets a little funky. But a lot of beauty products are classified in this way. A lot of hair products, a lot of just overall. But the big thing is you're putting it on the nail plate. I just don't like going that far and basically calling them organic.
Right.
That's the issue that I have. You can wear nail polish and it's perfectly fine if used in the right way. Honestly, you're not going to have like any issues. You know what I mean? As long as you're not like drinking it.
I think I understand why people want to go, the more, 12 free, whatever. I used to have people that would call and say, I want to do gel because I don't want to work with chemicals. Gel's a chemical. It just doesn't have a smell to it.
Right.
Like, and they're with what you're saying is that you don't want to present something that's not true to your
Correct.
Customers. And it's not that they're intentionally lying.
Right.
This is the sell twist
Yeah.
that people have given them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's still chemicals. And for me, I don't mind using chemicals as
Right.
long as it's been approved in the States
Right.
to be used as a cosmetic.
Correct.
I want to use what works.
Yeah.
And if I can find something that has all that stuff not in it and it works, awesome.
Well, and that's it for me, Trace, is like, obviously we and most nail companies, we're doing things by the book, what's approved by the government and our country and deemed as totally safe. We're only going to do that, what's deemed as safe. The problem that I have is companies that try to use marketing and push their products in a way and sort of cloak some of the things that shouldn't be cloaked. Like there should be full transparency. Full transparency about the products. And that's what we do, and I think that's what all companies should do.
Yeah,
and to try to say that, it's organic when it's not is not okay. You know what I mean? There's certain foods that are organic, even a certain food that's not organic versus one that is, you shouldn't call it organic. That's also like you're kind of deceiving people. I don't think that's okay.
Right.
You know? So there's a difference. Not all products are created equal when it comes to chemicals. And also when it comes to brands, the bottom line is you've got to do your research. You've got to try everything out yourself. You have to experiment, play with it. Tell us in the comments below how you go about this process of finding what's right for you. Tracey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Biz Talk.